So DC Fandome also took place super recently, which I was very excited for because I was actually really impressed with last year's event. And of course, I had a video made up, a YouTube exclusive, where you can go find it on our YouTube channel, Knights of the Dirty Table on YouTube now, to get our thoughts on how that went down last year. I was excited for this one again. I will say, just some quick thoughts on it. I was hoping that they would fix the issue of awkward host dialogue. Because if you don't know, the Fandome kind of switches between notable online personalities and actors and actresses within the DC universe as a whole. Barney, what's the name of our favorite actor from the Suicide Squad who crushed his hosting duties? European actor.
Flula.
Flula was great because he can embrace the awkward. That's part of his brand.
That's been his brand. Yeah.
But everyone else, if I had the opportunity to present a specific set of properties coming up for DC stuff, and this was the really terrible dialogue I was given, I would have put my foot down and been like, guys, this is terrible. Can I please not do this? Some deliveries were better than others, but the better ones were from noted performers, not social personalities, and it showed really badly. So I wish they'd fix that, but that's neither here or there. Smallville, in my opinion, did not need an entire panel devoted to itself for the anniversary of the season. That was a lot. I mean, cool, it's on Blu-ray now, great, but that was a time waster in my opinion. But maybe I'm just a little too biased against Smallville because it's just such a precursor to what we have now. Also, too, shout out Cam Newton for being there, coming back post-Patriots gig and just representing your hats and making Superman brand hats. I'm with it, and I definitely want one. That was a pleasant surprise, and everyone knows me. I'm a big Cam Newton fan, regardless of what team he's on, so that was a great plus. But the biggest things that came from the DC Fandome was, of course, notably the Batman. We got a full-fledged trailer now. What we got last year from DC Fandome was literally all the footage that they had shot before COVID shut everything down. You couldn't even mark it as a teaser because at least with an official teaser, you'll have really closely wrapped principal photography before you even get to the reshoots to decide things. You at least have an idea of what the story is. What we got last year was just everything that they had up to that point, which even then was kind of a lot, all things considered. But now we got the full-fledged trailer, and I have talked on this show before that I have been supportive of Robert Pattinson being the Batman because he's coming back to a franchise as opposed to stepping from one franchise like, Twilight and then immediately jumping into the Batman. He's done plenty of other projects that are expanding his artistic horizons. He's learning on set. He's taking in lessons from other actors. How can you not be learning when you're working with Willem Dafoe in something like The Lighthouse, in such an artistic piece, So the fact that he's the Batman now, I trust that he'll do a good job. And of course, don't judge based on a trailer, judge based on a final product of the movie. So of course I'll still be seeing it, but I'm definitely really excited for this, especially since there are so many colorful villains to pick from in this movie. I think this is like the first Batman movie where we have like 3 villains, 3 featured villains, at least Catwoman and Penguin and Riddler. So I'm excited personally for the Batman. Have been for a while, was going to go see it either way, but definitely after seeing the trailer, I am very curious to see what this Earth 2 being that to what is the DC Extended Universe's Earth 1 in a way. I'm very curious to see what this Earth 2 does with its storytelling going forward. And also the suit looks great and the car looks great, and I'm a fan. I am very curious. And of course, I think it's going to be successful because it's Batman. In the same way that kind of James Bond is just this ongoing cinematic character, I think at this point Batman has also been elevated to that kind of hold as well. So I'm excited for it. Mostly excited for, out of everything that came out of DC Fandome aside from the Batman, I'm really excited for The Flash. Not just, again, for a Batman appearance from Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, but also I'm not necessarily even looking for a reset on the DC Extended Universe. I'm just looking for clarity from DC as a whole going forward on their projects. And I think this movie's going to really help with that. Now, this was definitely a case of a teaser where they're still like filming, but this was all the footage that they had in the moment. But it's exciting, I think, to see. It's exciting to finally get a Flash movie, um, just because it's been a project that's been in production hell for a very long time, going through all kinds of different things. I'm really glad that they went away from calling it Flashpoint and actually just calling it The Flash instead of giving it such a specific moment in comic book history. So still the jury is still out on it to, see how it's going to be, but if they're doing what they say they're going to do and be pulling from all different facets of the DC multiverse, then y'all know me. I'm always here for a good team up movie. Shazam! Fury of the Gods looks really fun. I'm here for Helen Mirren being a villain in this thing. The fact that you could get Helen Mirren to be in anything is great, but to do something like this, to be like your central antagonist to Shazam, that's pretty incredible. And for a long time, Shazam was my favorite DCEU movie before the Suicide Squad came out, because it was just a much more intimate story. So I'm very excited to see what Fury of the Gods is going to be like going forward. Black Adam, which, again, this one still feels like it's in early infant stages. I'm excited for Dwayne Johnson finally joining a major superhero franchise. Personally, I'm more excited to see Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. That's kind of my ultimate pay for the ticket, not necessarily Black Adam. But it's going to be an interesting project. I just hope, and I think I said this last year too, I hope that we get to a point where in this DC universe, we do get a Black Adam and Shazam crossover movie, which I guess you can call it a crossover because they're technically two film franchises now. I hope that DC doesn't pull the plug and we don't wind up getting the battle that should be on screen, Black Adam and Shazam. If you're setting up these two movies, you better have them meet at some point. Do not do what you did with Justice League and pull the plug. Please follow through on this. Otherwise, no matter what you do with these movies, it's going to be a disappointment if Black Adam and Shazam do not meet anywhere in the middle. Please get them to meet at some point. Outside of all of that, a lot of what came from DC Fandome was really the same stuff that we already knew about from last year. Some stuff got updated announcement dates, like Young Justice, for example. They even had the first 2 episodes of Season 4 drop on HBO Max. They officially announced that Doom Patrol and Titans are getting Season 4s. Season 4s for both of them, which is pretty exciting. But even with the video games, we didn't actually get any updated release dates. We just got more in-depth looks at the stories. Like for the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, we have a better idea of how Brainiac is controlling the Justice League. And with Gotham Knights, we have a better idea of how the Court of Owls is going to wreak havoc on Gotham. But no real dates. Overall, with DC Fandome, a lot of stuff we kind of knew about, with just some having more in-depth looks than last year, obviously, because we've had more time to work on this stuff now. Not like post-COVID, but dealing with COVID better, I guess. So with this year's DC Fandome, and I do hope that they continue these going forward rather than having everything be mitigated into Comic-Con, I would say that this one wasn't quite as strong as last year's, but that's just because a lot of the stuff that we found out about last year was talked about this year. So it was solid, but at the end of the day, mostly I'm excited for the Batman and the Flash. Aquaman, Lost Kingdom, I realize I kind of forgot to talk about that in this, and there's good reason for it. I kind of am just meh on this Aquaman story, let alone for the whole Amber Heard thing. I don't know where you go when you've already used up Ocean Master and you're kind of using Black Manta again. I'm sure that there's more stories you can tell, but I'm just not as turned on by Aquaman, especially when it's a very flashy but not as substancy kind of project based on the first movie. So DC Fandome was fun. I'm glad it was only 4 hours as opposed to 7 like it was last year if they didn't have as much to announce. I didn't feel like as much of a time commitment, but it was all right. Was there anything off the top of your head, Barney, that you recall from DC Fandome that you were either excited about, disappointed, or
No, just that
No.
that one presenter who was hilariously awkward. And
Oh my
Flula
god, I
being
wish
a-
I wish I could remember what they said.
and what's his name? John Cena's pacifier, peacemaker.
Pacifier. No, that's actually Vin Diesel. Um, but yeah, Peacemaker, right? Peacemaker. Yeah, it's been a while. I kind of forgot that he had a TV show too.
But I actually enjoyed their little introduction of that, and I think that looks like it could be fun.
That it looks fun. Absolutely, it does. My only thing with that is we're doing DC Extended Universe TV series, and this is the first one that we're doing. I hope it. I'm sure that it will deliver. It's James Gunn who has overseen the entire series, and I trust John Cena at this point.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It looks fun, and he was definitely a highlight of the Suicide Squad, especially, quite frankly, near the end. To tell you the truth, I thought he was. I really liked his.
He was great.
Where his character went. So there's a lot to be had with DC Fandome. I guess I would have liked more surprise announcements. I guess. And maybe the only surprise announcement that comes off the top of my head is that they have a Batgirl officially in the DC Extended Universe. One of the actresses who was in The Heights.
Yeah, not
Great
much
movie,
in the way of
great
announcements.
Yeah, which is okay. There's always future things.
Whoa! Welcome to the end of the Knights of the Dirty Table video that you just watched. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our video, share with all your friends, and catch our live stream every Friday live at 5 only on the Zenden Studios Twitch channel. I gotta go wander off into space. See ya! Whoa! Whoa!